In this session, I'm going to talk to you about changing the permissions in file in Linux. And we are going to do a little bit of mathematics. But hold on, for those of you who don't like math. It's so basic. It's nursery school, elementary school, or kindergarten mathematics. That's how easy it is. You should be able to do basic addition. So I'll take you to my screen and we are going to start working from there. So the first thing we are going to do is I'm going to tell you about the permissions I talked about when we started. I told you we have three permissions in log: read, write, and execute. Those are the three permissions we have. And it's always written in this order: read, write, and execute. So what is the value for read? In Linux math, the value for read is 4. What's the value for write? It's 2. And the value for execute is 1. So when I say you have read, write, and execute permission, that simply means you have all the permissions. So what's this value? Read is 4, write is 2 plus 2, and execute is 1 plus 1. So let me ask you, what is 4 plus 2 plus 1? The answer is 7. That's it. So if you see a 7 permission, it means the person can do all things. He can read the file, he can modify, delete the file, anything on the file which is right, and he can execute. He can execute the file if it was a program or it was a script. That's the meaning of read, write, and execute. Now, let's look at other possibilities, other combination. What if I say the permission of someone is read, then execute? If you notice, I do not have a W. It's just a hyphen, which means there is no write permission. That means the permission here is just read and execute. So what's the value for read, guys? The value for read is 4. What's the value for write? There is no write permission here, so it's 0. And what's the value for execute? The value for execute here is 1, as usual. So 4 plus 1 plus 4 plus 0 plus 1, that is equal to 5. So when you see the number 5, it just means he has the permission to read and execute. That's all the permission they have. I'm going to take you back on my terminal and we are going to create some files, and let's look at the permissions for those files. So I have a file here on my computer. I can see I have a directory. The directory has permissions, and if you look, the permissions are, first of all, we have a D. D stands for our directory. All of you know that by now. D is for directory. Now the first set of the permissions, read, write, execute, the first three belongs to the user or the owner of the file. We'll call him user. Remember our last class? The next 3 permissions belong to the group, read, execute. So there's 1, 2, 3. But here in the middle there is no permission for write, so they skip write. So this belongs to who? Group. And the last permission, read, and then there's also no write, but we have execute. The last 3 numbers, they belong to other people, others. So UGO. Excellent. Now, what is the permission number for this one? Let's do some basic math. First of all, this is directory, and let's start for the user. He has the first 3 permission. We're going to drag this and come down here, and we're going to say user R is read. And what was our value for read? Let me bring the table here. Write is equal to 2. Execute is equal to 1. So read, what's the value? It's 4. So I say 4 plus, what's the value for write? Write is 2. So I say 2, and then what's the value for execute? Execute again is 1. I get it from here, so I say plus 1. So the value for this first set of permissions for the user is 7, because 4 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 7. Now let's go to the group and see the permissions that the group has. And for that, I'm going to change the color of my pen. Let's come into the group. The first permission they have is a read permission. So read, what is the value for read? Oh, it's a 4. If you look over here, read is 4. So I say 4. And the next permission is just a hyphen, meaning there is no write there, it's just a dash, it's omitted. So what's the value for a dash? Is 0. So 4 plus 0. And the last permission is an execute. So X what's the value for x, guys? If we look over here, guys, is a 1. So 4 plus 0 plus 1 is equal to 5. Excellent. So let's do the last permission, which is for others. Let's start with others, and I'm going to get another color for my pen. What's the value for read? The value for read is 4. Remember the table? This is the table over here, guys. We're always going to use this table. Okay, the read is 4 plus, what's the value for the hyphen? It's like write was normally supposed to be there, but there is no write. So we're just going to write a 0. So, and what's the value for the x, the last permission? So this is a 0. And the last permission, the x. What's the value for the x? The x is 1, because over here we know execute is 1. So 4 plus 0 plus 1. And that is 5. So what is the permission for this file called marketing? It's, let's start, 7, 5, 5. 7 for the owner, 5 for the group, and 5 for other people. 7 means read, write, execute. He has full permission. He can do whatever he wants. He is the owner. 5 means he has only read and write, read and execute, sorry. 5 just has read for 4, execute 1. So read and execute. And the other 5 again, read and execute. And that is basic addition in Linux. We are going to do one more file. And I'm going to clear my screen and let's do one more file. So let's create a new file called Cassava. I love Cassava. Touch Cassava. Okay, I'm going to touch Cassava. Now I'm going to do ls-lh, and this is exciting. ls-lh. So we come here and let's work on Cassava, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to circle this guy. Cassava, we're going to work on Cassava. So, question to you. I'd like you to do this one. First of all, the very first permission here does not a permission. It just tells you it's a file. A minus means a file. A D means a directory. So if you see a dash, that's a file. A D is a directory. And L is a link. So let's start with the first permission. I told you to follow the order. Read, write, execute. That's always the order. Okay? The order. O-R-D-E-R. Okay. So let's start with the first permissions on this one. We're working on Cassava. So this is Cassava over here. So the first permission, the first 3 permission belongs to the owner or the user of this file. You. So 1, 2, 3. So what are the permissions? R stands for read. And remember our table, read is equal to 4, write is equal to 2, and execute is equal to 1. It's our table. Look at this table as we work. So what is the value for read? Is 4, and write is 2, and execute. Oh, it's just a minus. There is nothing there. If there was an execute, you would see an X here. But guess what? There is no X, so there is no execute permission, right? No execute because there is no X. There's just a minus, meaning there is no permission. So when there is no permission, it means 0. So 4 plus 2 plus 0, that's equal to 6. Excellent. Let's go to the next set of permission. The next set of permission belongs to the group, denoted by letter G. So I have 1, 2, 3. So what is R? Again, go to your table. What's read? Read is 4. Okay, now the next permission. What is the next dash? It was supposed to be execute. And there is nothing, it's just a dash. It was supposed to be this on execute over here. There is nothing, it's just a dash. So it says 0. 4 plus 0. And then what is the other last one which is supposed to be execute? This last one is supposed to be an execute. There is no execute permission there. So we're going to give it again another 0. So what is 4 plus 0 plus 0? I think the answer is 4. Okay, let's go to the last one. The last set of permission are the last 3 permissions. And I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. So for the last 3, so the last 3 permissions. It belongs to all other people, others. Oh, so it says arrow. So I'm going to come down here. Arrow. Okay, what's arrow? Arrow is 4. And what about write and execute? It's just dash dash. The order is always read, write, execute. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. So what is write? It's a dash, which means that's equal to a 0. So 4 plus 0. And here also is 4 plus 0 plus 0. and that gives you a 4. So what is the permission on this file? Because it's a minus at the beginning, not a directory. This file called cassava, the permission is 644. Again, this is the first 644. So 644. It means this first number is for the user, the next one is for the group, the next one is for others. It just tells you that the user has read and write. All others have just read permission, because read is 4. Excellent, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching this video. We are going to go into our next class where we will start changing these permission. I will show you command on how to change the permission on files. I hope you understood. If you have any questions, write it down in the comment section and I will be very glad to help and explain to you better. Thank you.